Warren Buffett shares his thoughts on how Congress can end the U.S. deficit. Is Robinhood going to acquire Bitstamp? And the last thing that we're going to be going over, and probably biggest piece of news, is Sony is launching a cryptocurrency exchange. Make sure you guys tune in all the way to the end of the video to find out all the details. Hey guys, Ryan with Big Dog Investing. Thank you guys for tuning into my channel. If you guys could do a couple of things for me. If you guys want to like, comment, subscribe to my channel if you guys have not done so already. Click the bell notification down below so YouTube can send you guys notifications whenever I release videos. Watch my videos all the way to the end. If you guys could share my videos and share my channel with anyone. I'm trying to grow my channel as much as I can. Definitely need you guys' help in doing so. On my channel, we talk about anything that impacts the financial markets. This is going to be mainly cryptocurrency. We also talk about stocks, and then we also talk about the political landscape, especially because we're in election year. Getting started, today's be Thursday, July 11th. The total market cap for all cryptocurrency right now is $2.12 trillion. This is a 0.43% decrease on the day today. Fear and greed index, we're at a 40, so we just moved up from the extreme fear back to fear. The Bitcoin price right now is currently $57,533, Ethereum $3,113, and XRP is currently trading at 45.07 cents. So it's a nice price increase for XRP. Getting into the biggest gainers and losers on the day today. Biggest gainer on the day is going to be OM, currently up 9.3%. We have NEAR at 9%, and then AR currently up 8.6%. Biggest losers on the day say Bonk is currently at 10.6%. We have TIA currently down 7.2%. And then we have RNDR currently down 6.8%. One of my cryptocurrencies that I've been doing a little bit of research on, and again, nothing I say in this video should be considered financial advice. You guys should go do your guys' own independent research before making any financial decisions. But SEI, one of the cryptocurrencies that I've been looking into a little bit, and what this coin does is give exchanges kind of a little unfair advantage when trading. And this is for the slippage. And in my opinion, I do see this as a great cryptocurrency. I have not bought any yet. I'm looking for a price point that I want to get into. Currently trading at 31.3 cents. Down currently on the month. This 25-cent would have been a nice entry point. If it does get back down to that price, in my opinion, I do think that I'm going to get it. And then currently on the year, it was at a price max of 93.5 cents. So currently, if you got in right now and it went back to all-time highs, you 3x'd your money. In my opinion, I see it as a good price point, but in my opinion, I'm going to wait until that 25-cent entry. Getting into our news, though, the unemployment rate has ticked up to 4.1%, going over the 4% for the first time since November of 2021. So we talk about how jobs have been increasing over and over again, how unemployment rate has been so low, but this is the first time since November of 2021 we've gone over this. 74% of the jobs added last month came from government jobs, healthcare, and education. And in my opinion, this is kind of a falsehood because we're using taxpayer dollars to increase the unemployment rate because it could have actually been higher than this 4.1% if the government didn't use taxpayer dollars to create more of these government jobs. May jobs were revised down from the 272,000 to 218,000, and April's were revised down from the 164,000 to 108,000. I don't really care about races when it comes to unemployment because in my opinion, we're all Americans and we got to stop with this whole race thing. Again, that's just my point of view on this. And if you don't like it, you don't have to be on my channel. Full-time employment in June actually decreased by 28,000 workers, but we increased the part-time. So some of these full-time workers now had to go to part-time. So we had an increase in part-time. And again, in my opinion, this is terrible because full-time employees receive more benefits, especially in healthcare for a lot of these jobs. So these full-time workers now going down to part-time, in my opinion, is completely terrible. And just over a year, the unemployment rate has increased from the 3.4% to 4.1%. Where will we be by November of 2024? Only we are going to have to find out. Put your guys' thoughts down in the comments below on what you guys think of that. Warren Buffett is how to end the U.S. deficit in just 5 minutes. You just pass a law that says that anytime there's a deficit of more than 3% of GDP, all sitting members of Congress are ineligible for re-election, so they can't run again. In my opinion, I think that this is good, but there was also a person that said that the greatest way that we can do this is that Congress cannot spend more money than it receives, and the money that Congress receives is taxpayer dollars through the IRS. So the government Congress passes a law that the government cannot spend more money than it receives, and in a sense, we will no longer be borrowing any more money to fund whatever's been going on throughout the world. So it's just interesting to see another perspective on this, and I agree with that one. Now, we had a disappointing debate, in my opinion, from the president. I think former President Trump did a better job than President Biden, but put your guys' thoughts down in the comments below. But on this, the reporter asked the press secretary after the debate, was President Biden on any medication for his cold? She answers, he was not on any cold medication. She says, or the reporter states, was he on any medication at all? And then she says, he was not on any cold medication. So she just repeats what he said, or what she said in advance. And he wasn't asking if he was on any cold medication, any medication in general that could have impaired him during the debate. Didn't want to answer, just stated no cold medication. Now, he did appear with Stephen Popoulos, however you guys pronounce this guy's name, on ABC News. And the reporter says, I've never seen a president of 36% approval get reelected. And then President Biden says, I don't believe that's my approval rating. Now, obviously, they're going to say this, and President Biden's going to say this. So he only picks and chooses when the polls kind of talk for themselves. But put your guys' thoughts down, what you guys think of this. And there's a lot of speculation on President Biden going to be backing out. So President Biden posted and says, let me say this as clearly as I can. I'm the sitting president of the United States. I'm the nominee of the Democratic Party. I'm staying in the race. So only time's going to tell. Joe Rogan shares his thoughts. We sent an accidental $8 billion to Ukraine, but can't rebuild Maui. Think about the people in Maui. Imagine being a person there. They give you $700 and you can and you still can't rebuild. It's a year later and nothing's been rebuilt. In the blink of an eye, they give $100 billion to Lizinski, and that's what's even worse. They accidentally sent another $6 billion to Ukraine. So they accidentally sent a $6 billion. When we look at how much it costs to rebuild every house that got destroyed in the fire, it's $5 billion. So in a sense, we've completely 20x the amount of money to rebuild Maui, and we sent that to a different country using taxpayer dollars, but we can't help the American people out. In my opinion, I completely agree with this. We need to do more for the people of Maui and stop spending all of our money overseas. In the United States, the federal government will spend $892 billion in this current fiscal year just on interest payments. Okay, just on the interest. So this money is going nowhere other than paying the interest of our debt right now. And we're about 33.6 trillion or 33.7 trillion dollars in debt. In my opinion, completely ridiculous that we're spending this money on much money on debt. And that's what goes back to Warren Buffett's statement. We got to figure this out. And they're building entire neighborhoods, Wall Street Silver says, of homes just for rent. We will own nothing and be happy. So if you guys look, it says new homes for rent. We're allowing a lot of these big businesses and institutions to buy up single family housing, and then now new homes, renting those out. And then the average price, Unusual Whales are reporting for a single family home is $505,750, according to the U.S. Census Bureau. The mortgage of a $500,000 house is $2,952 towards your mortgage payment interest, assuming that there was a 6.86% interest rate and a 30-year fix for the down payment with 10% down. And that's kind of standard is 10% now because it's so expensive for housing. And in my opinion, this is completely unattainable right now for a lot of people to go out and buy houses. X, so Twitter now, X, formerly Twitter, is now creating a TV app coming soon. X will launch on a TV and a video viewing app for smart TVs. I think that this is great. X keeps on doing more and expanding its business. So Elon Musk is just doing a whole bunch. And then the Tesla Cybertruck is wild. The Semi features 3 independent motors for instant torque and power of any speed, ensuring safe merging on highway speeds and steep grades. It accelerates 0 to 60 in 20 seconds, fully loaded. In my opinion, I want to know what the brake test is on this. How fast can they go from 60 to 0? Because again, a lot of these electric vehicles are even heavier than our standard vehicles, and then having a semi truck being even heavier than the standard already is, it's kind of crazy. It can go 0 to 60, but where can it go from 60 to 0? Because that's where the safety measures need to come in. But if you look at this, it's kind of cool. This is the view. You got your side view camera, stuff like that. In my opinion, I think Tesla's doing great. And we'll see. And in my opinion, I think that this is a good buy for Tesla. Again, no financial advice. The SEC is charging consensus software with engaging in the unregistered crypto offer and sale of securities through MetaMask staking, with its operating as an unregistered broker. And this is kind of contrary because we have this. So Paul Grewal, who's the chief legal officer at Coinbase, says that we have shared the word of Judge Jackson's decision Binance case with a Third Circuit Court rulemaking. And in this, it says right here, the result in the Binance also compounds the SEC induced confusion for the industry and its customers. Multiple courts analyzing economically identical transactions have now reached diametrically opposed conclusions about whether those transactions may constitute securities transactions. So a lot of the courts in the United States who have been had lawsuits against them by the SEC, the judges have viewed them and said that the SEC has failed to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that they sold securities. And we saw the biggest one, in my opinion, the SEC versus Ripple, where Judge Torres ruled that the XRP token in of itself is not a security, and those secondary sales were not considered, and maybe those initial offerings were. So we'll see what happens with this. And then also here's Ripple's letter to the Judge Torres citing that Judge Berman's opinion. So this is Binance's opinion in the case. If you guys want to see the decision right here, you guys can. You guys can read more about it. But Ripple is probably going to use this again in their opposition to the remedies portion. And then the SEC Gov has filed its response to Ripple's notice of supplemental authority regarding the recent Binance decision. So in this, Ripple highlights, so this is the SEC talking, says Ripple highlights one observation that the nearly 90 pages of the Binance's ruling and tries to extrapolate from the general observation about the efficiency of the SEC's litigation strategy. So they're basically stating that they only pointed to one thing in the 90 pages, which, yeah, Ripple did point to one thing, but it was the biggest thing to do. And more importantly, Ripple's latest letter entirely omits the one part of Binance that could conclusively have any relevance in the remedies motion. So basically saying that it has no bearing in the remedies portion because Judge Torres said that, yeah, they might have violated the sale of an unregistered security for their first initial offering to institutions. So we'll see what happens, how Judge Torres actually rules on this when she comes out with the remedies portions. Now, Coinbase seeks access to the SEC chair's private emails. Now, we're trying to figure out what's been going on. Is he using his private emails to kind of talk about what he's been going over with these rulemaking policies? Is he saying something different in his private emails compared to what he's going out in front of Congress and speaking? Saying that, Ethereum is not a security and then it is a security, and then says, oh, well, Ethereum has thousands of tokens, but not really understanding that Ethereum has thousands of tokens on its platform. But all of those have their own separate tokens. Ethereum is one token in and of itself, but the network, okay, Ethereum's network has thousands of tokens on it. So we'll wait and see. Now, Watcher Guru comes out and says Robinhood considers listing crypto futures in the U.S. and Europe, Bloomberg is reporting. So this is all of our Watcher Guru news. $820 billion asset manager Standard Chartered Bank says Bitcoin could reach $100,000 by August. Now, I think that this would be great news for cryptocurrency, obviously, because we would push past, in my opinion, that $3 trillion market cap for all cryptocurrencies if Bitcoin can do that. And then it would also set a new all-time high for Bitcoin, and then also a new all-time high for the cryptocurrency market. Now, there's a big thing going on with the German government. They're selling a bunch of Bitcoin. So they sell 17,000 Bitcoin worth $951 million in its largest single-day Bitcoin liquidation. So we saw the Mt. Gox stuff that's been going on, the German government stuff that's been going on, and it's been bringing down a lot of sentiment in the markets for people, causing a lot of FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt with buying of cryptocurrency. Again, make sure you guys do your guys' research before you guys do anything, especially understanding markets is super important. Otherwise, you guys can get wrecked. So all spot Ethereum ETF applications filed updated their S1s. Fidelity, VanEck, Franklin, 21 Shares, Grayscale, and BlackRock. So we'll see what happens. Kraken Exchange comes out and says good luck. Only time's going to tell if Ethereum, those S1 applications, are going to go live here before the end of July. Now, Ethereum has already been passed for their spot Ethereum ETFs, so we're just waiting on the S1 filings to get approved, and that means that those current brokerages can actually sell those spot ETFs for Ethereum. Australia's largest exchange, stock exchange, ASX, approves its second spot Bitcoin ETF. Obviously, as the global adoption of cryptocurrency goes up, obviously the price is going to as well because more people are going to be getting into the markets. Fed Chair Jerome Powell says data does not support the greater confidence in inflation path that the Federal Reserve needs to cut rates. So that's July 9th. So that was 2 days ago. Obviously, we've seen a lot of sentiment in the markets, especially with the Fed chair. We've seen inflation numbers keep on going down and down. But if Fed Chair Jerome Powell does not cut these interest rates, obviously we're wondering what has been going on, because if inflation's going down, why is he not cutting rates? Because who is he actually really hurting? He's hurting the middle class and the lower class, in my opinion, because if rates aren't cut, then the home price interest rates are not going to get cut. These vehicle prices aren't going to get cut for interest rates. So in my opinion, we need to see interest rates cuts. Germany's Bitcoin sales, along with the Mt. Gox reimbursements, shook up the markets last week. The drama may not be over yet, as data shows that the German government still holds over $2.2 billion worth of Bitcoin that they can sell at any time and dump onto the market. But if we look, the $2.2 billion is nothing compared to the $1.13 trillion that it's currently at. So obviously, yeah, it's a lot of money, but in the grand scheme of things, it's nowhere near the $1 trillion market cap that Bitcoin is already over. Now, Robinhood's listing. So I took this picture of the moon last night. So that's Ripple's logo for the XRP token. But getting on to this, Robinhood to acquire Bitstamp. So if we look at this right here, the acquisition of Bitstamp is a major step in growing our crypto business. So if Robinhood's going to be acquiring Bitstamp and then they post this, is Robinhood going to also allow XRP on their platform? Right now, it has not gone live yet, so we'll see what happens. Sony will soon restart crypto exchange Whalefin, which bought from Amber Group last year, with a new app and user interface. So this was what was updated. And then if we get a better look at this, let's see, where did right here. So we'll move this over and we'll talk about this. So breaking, Sony launches crypto exchange in Japan. So Sony is going to launch S Blocks. So that's going to be the rebranding of the crypto exchange from the acquisition of Amber Japan. New signups through Neuro Mobile will get a 3,000 yen in Bitcoin. S Blocks will integrate with various Sony businesses, including offerings promotions with Sony Mobile's reseller Neuro Mobile in collaboration with Sony Bank of the NFT rewards. So if you guys want to do a little bit of more research on this, you guys can. In my opinion, I think that this is great news. But only time's going to tell if Sony's going to actually follow through with this, because a lot of people have backed out when they've said stuff like this, but they wouldn't have spent a bunch of money, in my opinion, if they weren't planning on doing this. Charles Hawkinson, so he's the founder of Cardano, fires back at ADA is not a dead to institutions before its government's update. So it's going to have a governance update. And in my opinion, I do see ADA as still being a strong cryptocurrency. It's still in the top 10. And in my opinion, I think that it is great cryptocurrency to have. And if you have it on Coinbase, you can still receive a I think it's 2% right now, a return if you stake. Now, obviously, we've seen staking as partial, could be considered security with the SEC, but right now Coinbase is still allowing it. Now, Hedera on this on Sentiment. So for the second month in a row, Hedera is the top developer crypto project ranking by developers frequency according to Web3 Analytics. So Hedera number one, Chainlink number two. Great cryptocurrencies for both. I own both, so I'm going to be transparent in that. I think this is great for Hedera, though, with the hbar token. But then also more news on Hedera. So Algorand and Hedera are tested by the Sweden Central Bank for retail CBDC solutions, central bank digital currency solutions. So put your guys' thoughts down. What do you guys think of this? I think Hedera is great. I think it's going to keep on going far. And Vechain secures a patent for mobile inventory systems on blockchain. If they get this patent, like they just did, I see this as great news for Vechain and VET token. I don't see it's going to be impacting the price of the VET token until it actually goes live and we see a bunch of inventory being used on blockchain. So a bunch of businesses are going to have to operate using this mobile inventory service using Vechain. So in my opinion, I think this will be great for VET down the road. This isn't going to be by the end of 2024 or 2025. I think that this is great news for VET by 2030. Sorry, excuse me. But in my opinion, VET's going to be a great cryptocurrency. I still own VET. I will own VET for quite a while, in my opinion, especially past 2030, because of this new recent news. Getting into our last things, but very few retail holders today hold large sums of XRP. So there's a lot of people speculating about these whales. So if you look at Bitpaint, 5.9% unknown, 6.2% Kraken, 6.7%, Binance 13.3%, Ripple's one account has 13.9, and then Ripple's number one account holds 17.6%. So of this, these are the 10 largest addresses controlled by roughly 11 billion XRP tokens. So they put 11 billion tokens, and then they actually divvied it up. So this percent is out of 11 billion tokens. So Ripple obviously owns the majority of this, and they hold this in escrow. But I don't see retail holders dumping the XRP token onto the markets and destroying the cryptocurrency price, mainly because a lot of people think that the XRP token is going to go really well with the XRPL and a lot of their updates that they've been going on with their automated market makers, so those AMMs, and then also them expanding globally. And one of these is the attention. Japan and Korea Fund is now open for applications from enterprises, developers, and the XRPL community members. This fund will support everything from corporate partnerships and startup investments to developers, grants, and community growth. So great news for the XRPL, in my opinion. And then getting at the end of this, for those of you guys that don't know, this is Chris Larson, and he shares his thoughts. So our view on crypto is not that they replace currencies, but that they have a unique feature in not only having a counterparty. Turns out this is a complete unique thing that didn't exist before. So he shares his thoughts. If you guys want to watch the video or anything down in this video, is going to be down and linked below in the comments. Thank you guys for tuning into my channel. And if you guys can invest with the big dog, stay on the porch. Thank you guys and have a good one.